Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift We are coming off the go-home edition of Smackdown Live. In other words, the final Smackdown before the 2019 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Shout out to the ladies of NoDQ that are all in the chat room right now, and Virtue, of course. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. We will be doing predictions. The guys will have predictions. The ladies will be doing predictions. And of course, we'll have the NoDQ live reviews coming up this weekend. Simply Noah, aka Noah Foster, with a $5 super chat. No comment, but thank you very much for that, Noah. Make sure you guys check out Noah over at NoDQ.com/Noah. Follow him. He posts some amazing pay-per-view graphics, keeping track of Team NoDQ's predictions for the pay-per-views. Enough of the plugs. Let's get to the review. SmackDown kicked off with the man, Becky Lynch. She came out and said that she loves fighting, but she actually has something to say. She said there's only one thing she should be doing, and that's main eventing the WrestleMania 35, basically saying that people are critical of her and saying she should do this, she should do that. But as far as she's concerned, the only thing she should be doing is main eventing WrestleMania. Asuka came out and... actually, hold on. Before I get to that, Becky did talk about Asuka in the match for the Royal Rumble. She said that Asuka's one of the best, but not better than her. And then Becky said that Asuka will never beat her Asuka never did beat her for the title at the TLC pay-per-view. Then we had Asuka come out and confront Becky, which led to Becky chants from the fans. The crowd was just way into Becky, as they usually are. No surprise there. Charlotte then came out before Asuka really had a chance to talk. Cindy, where our lovely Team NoDQ put on a... Big G says to check out Team NoDQ's Spotify playlists. We did plug it on Facebook and Twitter, so you'll have to go to Big G's page to find the link to it, or mine if you can find it. Apparently the video is lagging, so let me know if there's any problem from the rest of you. I see one person saying that the video is lagging. Somebody said audio and video, WYD. Somebody's saying major jet lag. I really don't know what to do here. I mean, if there's a problem, we're just going to have to wing it. So let's just keep moving on here. There's not much I can do about the lagging. All right, so we had Charlotte come out right as Asuka started talking. And Charlotte said she's going to win the Rumble. And she did admit that Becky owned her for a few months. However, Charlotte said that she has owned the women's division month, 4 years, I should say. Asuka then attacked Becky, and then Becky fought back, and they had this big brawl, and Becky started using her jacket, whipping Asuka with it. And then after the commercial, they were continuing to brawl in the backstage area. Then we had a video recap of the Naomi and Mandy Rose storyline, complete with a very annoying narrator, and I have to say, it irritated me very much. I was like, really? I mean, this felt like something out of a really bad reality show, like Temptation Island or something like that. David Milkman with a $2 super chat donation says, dude, you're balding. TNA rocks, very underrated. Well, thank you for that observation, David. I'm glad you took notice of it. Anyways, back to SmackDown Live. We had the match between Naomi and Mandy Rose. Sonya Deville was out there, and she provided the interference, which led to Mandy picking up the victory, and Jimmy was out there to try and be there to comfort Naomi. I feel bad that this was the only Uso-related appearance we got on this entire show. TK with a $2 super chat, and thank you for this. Asuka referred to Becky as a male loosely in Japanese. So that's what she was saying when she was yelling at ringside after Becky whipped her with the jacket. Just don't tilt your head. Oh, like this? Oops, too late. David Milkman with another $2 super chat donation. He had to repeat his previous comment. Dude, you're balding. Yeah, I know. TNA is the best wrestling, underrated. Moving on here, we had... I'll just keep taking your super chats if you want to call me bald. I mean, I'm cool with it. It's all good. So we had a Rey Mysterio promo about the Royal Rumble with cool little lighting. And then Mysterio brought up the 2 out of 3 falls match with Andrade, Cien Almas, stating that in order to get respect, you have to earn respect. Next up, we had The Miz versus Cesaro. Shane McMahon was out there and Sheamus was out there. Sheamus distracted right off the bat, and then later on, Miz made his comeback. However, Sheamus interfered again, which led to Cesaro picking up the victory with the neutralizer. Easy for me to say. After the match, well, hold that thought here for a second. Power Packers 90 says, calling it now, Charlotte is winning the Rumble and breaks Ronda's singles streak and wins the belt because LOL Woo always wins, I think he was trying to say. I mean, I feel like Charlotte's going to win, but you're going to have to wait and see the predictions video to get my actual official prediction on it. So moving back to the post-match of Miz versus Cesaro, Shane McMahon, after the match was over, I mean, big help Shane. Shane bum-rushed Sheamus after Miz already lost, and then we had a big brawl between everybody. Have a smoke and relax with a $3 super chat donation says, get stoned and watch wrestling, best thing ever. Well, there you go. So Shane McMahon tried to set up Cesaro on the table, but then Sheamus shoved Shane off the top rope, and then Sheamus hit a bro kick to Shane. The Bar then proceeded to pick up Shane and hoist him up and slam him down onto the Miz through the table, and that was the final segment to set up the Royal Rumble. So I'm confused now because my thought process was that we were going to see Shane and Miz have a falling out at the pay-per-view, have the Miz turn heel against Shane, and that sets up a match with them at WrestleMania. However, with the way this went down, I'm confused because the Bar looked so dominant here, laying out these guys, and now I feel like we're going to get a title change. We're going to have Miz and Shane as tag team titles. So I guess this was effective in terms of making me uncertain about what's going to happen here, because other than that, I was pretty much just assuming we were going to have Miz turn against Shane, and that was going to lead to a singles match at WrestleMania. Who knows? So I guess this was a positive. Then we had a recap of Samoa Joe and Mustafa Ali's storyline. Ali cut this promo talking about how he could tell by Joe's eyes that Joe feels he's not worthy to be in the same ring with him. However, Ali said that Joe can look in his eyes and know that he can beat him. So this was a really good promo by Mustafa Ali. I liked it. It was something a little bit different. He was talking on some street corner, and it just had a different vibe to it, which I liked. I thought it was good. All right, can we just put David Milkman in the timeout now? I mean, I do appreciate the super chats, but now he's just spamming. All right, so next up we have the big segment with Vince McMahon and AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, the big in-ring confrontation with Vince as the moderator. Basically just to get Vince on TV, I guess, to make this match feel more important. Maybe get the ratings up, maybe a combination of both. Vince brought up the tag match, what happened to Shane, and just said it's going to be a hell of a fight at the pay-per-view. And then Vince proceeded to introduce AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. The crowd was doing what chants at Vince, by the way. Vince came out, the fans did the bowing, and then they proceeded to do the what chants at him. Bryan cut another great promo here, as he's been doing the last several weeks, or should I say the new Daniel Bryan. Bryan brought up how he's not going to fall for the trap by getting in the ring, and he called AJ Styles a sociopath. He said he imagined the future with AJ as WWE champion, and how it would just be a future of impotence and ignorance. And then he brought up how AJ just fights for money and power, while Bryan fights for the greater good. And then he proceeded to call himself not the people's champion, but the planet's champion. Mike B with a $9.99 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Mike B. He says, sorry I missed last night's stream. I needed to catch up on some sleep. Anyways, the trolls that come in here and talk crap to you are jealous that Nia Jax is better than them. Ouch. That, I would say, is the savage comment of the evening so far. But perhaps somebody else can top that. We'll have to wait and see. Curtis Butler with a $1 super chat donation. No comment, though. Thank you for that, Curtis. So yeah, Bryan was just on fire here with his promo. And then AJ Styles called him fickle because he was doing things like flying on a plane when he complains about technology, pretty much. Then we had AJ Styles saying that Bryan is afraid of him. There's fear, and says that the WWE Championship corrupted his morals. This was a pretty good rebuttal by Bryan, or by AJ, I should say. Bryan, however, was just doing amazing with this entire promo, as he has been doing. Then Bryan was starting to quote Carl Sagan, when all of a sudden Vince is like, I'm tired of this, just get in the ring. I mean, at Vince's age, he's bound to get tired just standing there for 5 to 10 minutes. Marcus the God with a $2 super chat donation says, who should be next in the WWE title picture? Well, thank you for the super chat, but I guess this is somewhat on topic. I don't know. I don't have a good answer right now. I want to focus on this segment right now. Hard for me to think about that and try to stay on point here, but thank you for the super chat. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. Who should be the next contender for the WWE title? Ham Connell with a $2 super chat donation. He says, scale on 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Royal Rumble? 6. Probably a 6. Again, I'm looking forward to hanging out with some amazing people more than actually watching the pay-per-view. And by the way, just a quick plug, Saturday night, NXT NoDQ Live, and Sunday NoDQ Live. I will not be writing solo for those videos. So make sure you guys stay tuned. It's going to be a really fun time. I think you guys will have an amazing experience tuning into NoDQ Live. It's going to be a blast. I can just promise you that. It's going to be something different that you haven't seen yet on NoDQ Live. Spoiler alert, may have some female company for that video. More than one. So anyways, back to SmackDown Live. Bryan then continued his promo towards Vince and was talking about how the fans bow to Vince, but why are they doing this when Vince is all about putting profits over people and that sort of thing. Vince, again, told him to get into the ring. And then AJ's like, well, you know what? A face-to-face doesn't need to be in the ring. AJ went out to the floor, got in a brawl with Bryan. I will say I think WWE was overdoing it a little bit with the brawling on this show. It felt like we had just a bunch of segments end in brawls. Other than maybe doing something different, like just like a stare down, or I don't know, any number of things that could have been done differently. But it's mostly nitpicking on my part. I mean, this was a good segment. Then Bryan used Vince as a shield. AJ was going to hit the phenomenal forearm, but Bryan got behind Vince, and then AJ hesitated, which led to Bryan hitting him with the running knee, and then that was the end of the segment. So this was a good closing segment for the Royal Rumble. I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good for a go-home angle to set up the pay-per-view match. Then we had R-Truth and Carmella backstage. R-Truth was bringing up how he might fight either Daniel Bryan or AJ Styles after he wins the Royal Rumble. And then Carmella was like, well, what about Brock Lesnar in the Universal title? Because remember, the winner of the Royal Rumble matches can challenge either brand's champion. I found it amusing that there was no mention of Finn Balor. Carmella's just like Brock Lesnar. So yeah, to me that speaks volumes, but whatever. And then R-Truth even mentioned a possible cruiserweight match against Bobby Murphy. Yes, he called him Bobby Murphy, and Carmella had to correct him. R-Truth took off. Not sure where he was going to. How's it going, Marshall? Carmella then ran into Charlotte, and they talked about the Rumble. Charlotte said she's number 30. She's going to win. She brought up how last year's Rumble was a tornado, but then Charlotte's like, well, you don't have to worry about the other women because I'm the actual tornado this year. And that was that. Then we had Mustafa Ali versus Samoa Joe. This was a good match. Ali brought the fight to Joe, but in the end, it was not enough. I mean, WWE definitely pushed Joe strongly on this show, building him up as one of the odds-on favorites for the Royal Rumble. Joe did pick up the win with the Coquina clutch. Bernadette with a $2 super chat donation. That must be some sort of reference I am completely missing. What are your thoughts on the young Maverick Steve? Steve Austin? I mean, he is quite the Maverick. I will say that. Or is he talking about... Who's another Steve right now? Crazy Steve? Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So yeah, Joe picked up the win here. And then we had a backstage segment with the New Day hyping up the Royal Rumble match. Now, we had a Tony Chimmel cameo here, which if you blinked, first of all, you missed it. Second, it really wasn't that funny. I think they made a reference to Edge, like where's Edge or something like that. I thought it was a very forgettable cameo. The promo was meh. I mean, it was just there. Nothing special, you know. New Day talking about how if one member wins, they all win. Kofi was wondering what's he going to do when his feet leave the ground this year. You know that we're going to have some sort of big moment with Kofi, as always. So I guess that was the point of this, just to make it clear to everyone that Kofi does crazy stuff at the Royal Rumble, and that's one of many reasons to tune in. Then we had the Rey Mysterio versus Andrade 2 out of 3 falls match, the rematch from last week. And this was great. I mean, this was with like one moment that they botched something. I believe it was some kind of spot from 97 with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. I think that they were trying to recreate, and it was botched. But other than that, I mean, it was basically perfect. Everything they did was on point. Rey Mysterio had the hot start, but then Andrade came back and he did this huge power bomb off the top rope for the first fall. And then Mysterio came back and scored a pinfall with the Canadian Destroyer, which was interesting because I believe he failed to win with that move last week. Yet this week he was able to score the pinfall. This guy with a $2 super chat donation says, the Royal Rumble will suck due to no top stars. Good night, Aaron. Well, have a good night, this guy, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. By the way, guys, quick plug, NoDQ.com/shirts. This weekend, there is a sale over at Pro Wrestling Tees. You can get a NoDQ.com shirt or any number of NoDQ-related shirts. Support your favorite NoDQ video personality or columnist. The code is Rumble. It's a 72-hour sale, so check it out this weekend, NoDQ.com/shirts. back to the match. Rey Mysterio did a lot of cool stuff in this match. I mean, both guys were just on fire. Mysterio did his slide to the outside and turned it into a power bomb, where he power bombed Almas onto the apron. That looked really cool. Almas did hit the hammer lock, or hammer. Is it a hammer lock? Yeah, I think it's a hammer lock DDT. And then Rey Mysterio got his foot on the ropes. And then Mysterio hit this inverted Hurricane Rana and then was going for the 619. And that's when Samoa Joe showed up and powerbombed Mysterio on the apron and then proceeded to throw Almas. I keep calling him Almas. He's Andrade now. Joe threw Andrade into the ring post, and then Joe was celebrating. Like I mentioned earlier, Joe being built up strongly as one of the favorites for the match. And then we had, to close the show, an RKO out of nowhere from Randy Orton to end SmackDown Live. Randy Orton did his pose. Don't think Orton's winning, but nice little way to end the show. And that was SmackDown. I mean, very solid 2 hours again. I enjoyed it. Wasn't perfect, but still good show. I think I gave last week's show a B, and I think I will give it a B again. To me, it was a very good show. Definitely worth checking out. Solid B for SmackDown. And definitely a better go-home episode than what Monday Night Raw was. Michael Wayne gives it a B+. John gives it a B. Braden was not a big fan. He says, please, SmackDown wasn't that good. Ryan with a B+, TK with a B, James, Riot, Ruby with a B+, Power Packers 90B, Chris Mace B, Caitlin gives it a B, Mike B, you guessed it, a B, Daniel with a B, and Holly Day ends the streak of Bs with a C, Don with a B, and Bootleg Joe with an F. So, not everybody loves SmackDown, but general consensus was that it was a good show. Better than Raw, but what else is new? Although I think last week I gave Raw a better letter grade. I think I gave Raw a B+ last week, so every once in a while Raw squeaks by with a better show, but doesn't happen often. And it's difficult with the 3-hour show. So that was SmackDown. Royal Rumble is this Sunday. Like I said, lots of content coming up. Royal Rumble review, or preview video, I should say, will be up tomorrow. And then I will have NoDQ video going up, and maybe Wrestling Trivia Challenge. There may be a delay. Jeff is supposed to be facing David Diaz in the semifinal, but Jeff has been dealing with some personal issues, so I'm not sure if there will be an episode this weekend or not. Hamp Connell with a $2 Super Chat donation says, what surprise entrances would you like to see this Sunday? Like I mentioned on NoDQ video, pretty much anyone that we haven't seen in a long time. I'd love to see Ken Shamrock. I'd love to see Kenny Omega, but we know that's not going to happen realistically. I'd just like to see some legends come back. Carlito posted on social media that WWE hasn't even put him in the alumni section, so that tells you all you need to know about him showing up. But that would be cool. Carlito showing up. I like it. Maybe like somebody, Chris Masters, any number of guys that we haven't seen in a long time would be cool. Curtis Butler with a $2 Super Chat donation. He says, just take the money from the trolls. Pretty much that's what I'm doing, but, I will read off the comments, but if they start trolling beyond that in the chat room, I'm going to say just put them in timeout. But I do have my policy where unless it's something really out of line and offensive, I will read your Super Chat. If you send me money, I will read the comment. If it's dissing me, go for it. You can call me bald. You can say whatever you want. I'll read it if you wish. So I will gladly take the money and run. So that's pretty much all I got for this. I'm sure myself and the NoDQ members will talk about the Royal Rumble in further detail. We do have the 2 kickoff matches that have been revealed. One of them is the Cruiserweight match, no surprise. The other one is Nakamura, the winner of last year's Royal Rumble, on the kickoff this year versus Rusev. And neither of them were on this show, period. So there you go. Quite a shame, but whatever. It is what it is. And that's all I got for this time. So thank you all very much for watching No DQ. Hold on. Ken Terminated by Google left a $2 super chat donation. He says, Godspeed to Jeff Meacham. Keep doing you, Rift. I just wanted to point out that Jeff is okay. I mean, he did have something school-related with his son, but I'm not going to get into Jeff's personal life here. Just letting you guys know he's okay. And I think we'll probably have the trivia match up by the weekend, but might not happen. Might have to be delayed 1 week. It is a very hectic weekend for everybody. Greg's out of town right now, so we're just having scheduling issues with all that. But Jeff is fine. Jeff is doing okay. Just don't want people to panic about that. But anyways, I'll go ahead and wrap up this video. Thanks again for watching.